of the business. So how can we strategize? So, because that's what I do. I'm a business consultant. Let's put strategy. Let's put system. Let's do this. So in Lagos, she was doing the business hand to mouth. That's what I called it, because she has to wait for customers to order. When they order, she will order from wholesaler, from the market, and then supply. Maximum, maybe she will make in a month, maximum, maybe she made 300, 400,000 in Lagos. We took the decision, or we made the decision under God to dare our fear and move to Abuja. Of course, I got some money, gave it to her. I said, this Abuja that we are going, what we're going to do, we're going to change the model of the business. We can't afford to do this hand to mouth. Can we start ordering directly from China? So I depleted all my savings. It's a project of faith. Take this money, go to China, order all of the things. Then we ordered, and we started. Of course, I was afraid. Like 3 months or 4 months after, she told me that, she called me. Guess what? I said, what? He said, guess what? He said, this month, we have not even finished the month. He said, our revenue is already 10 million. I said, 10 million from 500,000. And ladies and gentlemen, under God, in the last 6 months, the revenue has not gone below 10 million threshold back to back every month. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing for this? And then when I just reflected, in hindsight, I understood that if you don't take a step of faith, God does not show you all the picture. God does not show you the full picture at first, though. It will show you, it will look like film trick. You will see a portion. He wants you to take a step in obedience. It is when you take a step that it becomes clear. And I've also seen this happen to me as well. In my own career and my own business journey, once I take one step, it becomes clearer. I take the other step, it becomes clearer. The kind of money that I have made, that God has passed through my hands in 1 year. If I was working for Dangote in 5 years, 1 year is too much. And I'm not joking. The kind of money I made in a single month, if I was working in that, I've made some 5 years income in 1 month. Because I took a step of obedience. So I will conclude by saying, again, that on the other side of your fear, everything that you ever desire, everything, financial abundance, marital bliss, anything that you ever desire is on the other side. So some of the things that you can quickly do, write these things down. I won't really explain them. As a 9-to-5er, what are some of the things that you can do to quickly to increase your income? Opportunities that I've seen that works right now that you can explore. You need to invest. The first one is investment. And when I say invest, you're investing in stocks. Invest in stocks, invest in mutual funds. If you don't have any investment, you should have money market mutual fund. Who doesn't have money market mutual fund here? If you don't have money market mutual fund, is it that you don't have? Is it because you really do not know what it is? It's like savings that gives you high interest. That's the easiest way. And instead of doing it with a bank, you go to the subsidiary of the bank that is the assets management. For example, Stanbic IBTC, right? If you want to open money market, you won't go to Stanbic IBTC Bank. You go to Stanbic IBTC Asset Management. I think Zcrest, maybe Zcrest is one of the sponsors of this program. They probably also have money market. It's low risk investment. You're not losing anything. The only disadvantage, the only thing that can happen, that can go wrong with money market is inflation risk, meaning that investment pays you 15%. But by the time you looked at the value of that 15% at the end of the year, it can't really go much. It can't really do much for you. So that's the only risk attached to money market. So please, do money market. The next one is digital products. A lot of you are very talented in your area. Start writing ebooks. Write ebooks, put it online, sell. In the last 3 years, I must have made over 10 million from ebooks. People are just buying it. I'm not doing anything. I've written it 3 years ago. I've just put it online and they are just buying it. It's important. Another one is angel investing / partnership. You can invest in the businesses of other people. Of course, there are things that you need to consider. Don't just go and throw your money away, right? Invest. Then the next one is online business. And the last one is affiliate opportunities. Affiliate opportunities means that there are some companies right now that will pay you to sell their products. In fact, all companies in Nigeria will pay you to sell their product. Just go and meet them. I want to start selling for you. They'll give you the product. They may not give you, they'll give you the picture of that product. Both financial services and non-financial services company. You can sell for them and make money. Thank you for your time and attention.
Please help me celebrate Mr. Sherry one more time. Thank you very much, sir, for that tip. Well, we'll go straight into the panel session. Let me welcome you back up stage. Please help me celebrate her as she comes back up the stage. Please make sure that your questions are directed on Slido, all right? Before we get into the panel session, we're live on YouTube, right? And it's important that we celebrate our virtual audience. So ladies and gentlemen, help me celebrate with a round of applause our virtual audience who are following us right now. Particularly, let me highlight Sarah. She's live with us all the way from New York, and the time difference is quite early in the morning, and she's with us. Please, let's celebrate her one more time. We see you, Sarah. Thank you very much. If you have not followed on social media, please do so right now. I told us to take a selfie, do a video. I've not seen it. I entered the hashtag, I did not see it. So if you have not done it, go and do it. All right? But I'll get back to that after this panel session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the conversation. Thank you for pouring your heart out here. So I'll start with you. All right. So I'll start with your story. The day where you just busted into tears, right? And you told us the next thing you did was you met with a coach, right? And there are many young women who would say, coach, mentor, do I really need, what would that really do for me? I could, within the confines of my home, Google is your friend. I can find information. So what difference did having a coach at that time, what difference did he make in your journey of dreaming and daring to do?
Fantastic question. So I'll say something. I'll start from maybe backtrack a little bit. So that morning when I woke up, like I said, I was looking for something and I didn't know what it was. So the first person I called my brother, my older brother. And I said, see, I called his name. I said, I'm looking for something. He's a doctor, by the way. I'm looking for something. He said, okay, what is it? I said, I don't know what it is. He said, okay. Is it a physical something? I said, no. Is it a mental? I said, no. I'm just feeling one kind. He said, okay. And I'm glad that he didn't laugh at me. Right. He now said, okay, there's this guy that went to school with us that he was following him on social media and he's making sense. Now, my brother is a very no-nonsense character. So for him to say, this guy is like, he's making sense. How about you try him out? That person was Jimmy Tewe. We all went to school together. Right. So to me, that was even the first coach that said, why don't you try this way? Even if he was just saying, off the cuff, as it were. There's something we say in Nigeria, follow who no road. Follow who no road. Now, finding the one that knows road might be the challenge. But what working with someone who has walked that path does for you is that it kind of catapults you, right? You don't have to then go through the same challenges that they did. Mr. Shea mentioned something about leverage. That's what it is. You're leveraging their knowledge, you're leveraging their experience, you're leveraging their understanding. Right? I'm a learner. I love to learn. I love to know things just for the sake of it. So Google is my friend, YouTube, I love all of them. But there's something that another person telling you their experience can do for you. So that you can see the gaps, see the pitfalls, and you don't have to go through them. Right? So for those who are my fellow readers and I learn by myself, I can do it myself, I'm part of it. Right? There's a space for that as well. By all means, knock yourself out. But the human element of it, getting someone to guide you and just show you the path, is extremely important. For me, my coach didn't do my work for me. You will do your work yourself. She will tell you, you know your own road better, you know your own path better than anyone else. Right. My job is to just guide you, right? And perhaps hold you accountable, like you said, and almost force you to do that work. Okay. Yeah. So any coach, I talk a lot. The idea of a coach is like in sports. There's some extent that you can go. There's some capacity that you have that you will not push yourself to do. someone has to hold you and insist that you do that work sometimes for you to get there. So if you truly want to fulfill your fullest potential, I would highly recommend that you get someone that will hold you and not be moved or fazed by your crying and say, I can't do this.
So
Someone that says,
I
you
have
can
a
do
follow-up
this.
question on that from Slido. Somebody said, so why does your dream die after you tell people? So,
Who are you telling?
So that question is from Slido. So,
Who are you
when
telling?
you meet a mentor, you want to express these are my dreams. So how do you bridge that? The person is asking, the dream dies after telling people.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
First of all, who are you telling? So here's the thing. So like I said, my background is in law. There's a quote in law that says, Nemo dat, we like to do Latin. Nemo dat code non. You can't give what you don't have. So if you are meeting someone who has never crossed the road and telling them that my dream is to cross the road, they'll tell you, why are you crossing the road? What's wrong with this side of the divide? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Right? So it's important, yes, have a coach, but it's important to know who you're going to. Anyone who has never done anything, it's not the person you tell a dream to. Someone who has never gone out, put themselves as an outlier, as Mr. Shea said. If you've not done anything fantastic, they don't have that capacity. They don't have the cell of recognition about that. So you're telling them what they don't know, they can't help you. So my question to the person is, who are you talking to? Yeah.
All right. So it's a feedback. Who are you talking to? Thank you very much. So we'll come back. Let me move to you, Mr. Shea. There's a question here that says, as someone who's just starting her career in real estate, should I like to ask, what is that one habit or decision that makes the difference in growth? Now, gleaning from your own journey, what are the habits that you put in place? Because you said something, you take life very seriously, you're very intentional. So for somebody who is looking to grow and is just starting career, what are those habits that they need to structure that would help and propel growth?
Okay, so I think you shouldn't limit it to a single organization. It has to be something you develop as part of you. So for me, some of the things that have helped me, once I get into any company, the first thing I do is to recognize the power brokers. I call them the power brokers, people that have influence in that company. And I start to do good work to get their attention. It looks like eye service, but it works, right? It works because in a lot of rooms, you won't be there where decisions will be made. You need someone that can sponsor you, that knows what you can do. And again, I kept balancing it. It's not just to do the eye service without doing the work. So what are some of the practical ways that I do these things? For example, let's say I'm in finance. I'm in the finance department. So when we are done with our work for the day, and I see that the boss is still at work, still doing something, I can just pop in and say, oh, hello, boss. Is there anything you need? Is there anything I can do for you? And all of that. Just offering a helping hand over and above what I'm paid to do. And at meetings, people that talk too much would always have the edge over other people that are quiet. In meetings, staff meetings, when they say, does anybody have something to say? I can guarantee everybody looks towards me. Where's she? Where's she? Don't talk, let's go on time. Because I must have something to say. And something that I will say as well that will make sense. At every point in time, I want to drop a seed in the minds of the decision maker. And it has worked for me.
Absolutely. So a follow-on question then will be still on Slido. How then do you handle multiple rejection? Because you can really put yourself forward, your best foot forward to your sponsors or potential sponsors at work. But for some reason, maybe you're not appreciated, you're not seen, you're not loved. And perhaps this person is saying multiple rejection. How do you handle it?
Okay, so I'll answer this question in a slightly different way. A lot of times, when you think about the concept of fulfillment, I think most of us want to get 100% fulfillment from our jobs. Your job is only one part of you. Every one of us. So the way I do the math in my head is you only need 100%. 100% is what you need to get out of life. Out of that 100%, your career or business is 20. Your social life, that's where your marriage, relationship with other people, 20%. Health and fitness, 20%. Finance, 20%. The last 20% will go to spiritual. So a lot of people You are scoring 0 in all those other things, and you want your job to fill all the empty vacuum that you are carrying. It's not going to work. That is why you can't expect too much from work. So that's the first thing you need to clear. Then the second thing is, perhaps you are not expecting too much. You know other areas of your life, maybe you are getting 10%. 10, if you get 10 in relationship, and when I say social relationship, it doesn't have to be marriage alone. Don't put your life on hold because you are not married. Enjoy your life now that you're not married, though. When you are married, I don't know why married people don't tell people that are single that the best time you have for yourself is when you are single. Me now, let me not say too much. Maybe my wife is watching on YouTube now. So that's the first thing. The other thing is, if you've really done your best in a job, in a company, and you're not being appreciated, and they're not reciprocating, that's why you're not a tree. You should move. Move to another company. But make sure you've actually done the right things. And I'm going to share another example. So sorry. I got into a job, and for the first 6 months, it wasn't really working. So I thought I was going to resign. So I spoke to a mentor, which also emphasizes the place of mentorship and speaking to people. I spoke to a mentor, someone in HR that really has experience. Bro, this is what I'm going through in my office. What do you think I should do? And he told me, he said, Shay, do you understand that when you get into any company, even as an experienced hire, the first 6 months, you don't know anything. You are trying to learn. In fact, you can learn from a graduate trainee in that company because the graduate trainee in that company has more experience about that system more than you. So he said for the first 6 months, you're not doing anything. He said for you to say, I've done everything, it's not working. He said minimum of 2 years. Wow. So if you have waited 2 years and it's not working, then you can say, okay, I've tried everything that I know to do. Then you can check out. But wait for that 2 years. So that became a template for my life as well. 2 years, except it is something that borders on values. I've worked in a place where my value system were being challenged on a daily basis. I said, no, I can't stay here. 8 months, I was out. But apart from value system or anything that coincides with my belief, I can deal with it.
All right. Thank you very much. Please, that calls for a round of applause. So this next question is one question, but both of you are going to give feedback on it. And this is why. You started this conversation, your own session, by talking about survival mentality as something that works against financial freedom. And then there's also the angle of feeling stuck after a while. So I will start with you. So you give your perspective and you give yours as well. The anonymous says, I'm 30, starting over after 8 years of serving someone, and it didn't lead where I hoped. I feel stuck between survival and purpose. How do I find my way forward? Should I go over it again?
Yes.
Okay. I'm 30, a very grand age. Starting over after 8 years of serving someone. So he or she gave 8 years of their time and energy to someone. But it didn't lead where I hoped. Now I feel stuck between survival and purpose. How do I find my way forward?
So I'm going to pick that like a Bible verse and break it down. So the person started with, I'm 30 years old, right? And what I sense from that is this, it's a feeling of time is running out. That's why you started with that. So first thing I would say to you as someone who have passed 30 a while ago, at the risk of playing it down, 30 is it's not the end of your life. It might seem that way because you're coming from this other direction. For those of us that are ahead, it's not the end of your life. So don't get to a space of desperation that I must get it now. Look here, all of us, every single person here, we're all in the experiment of our lives. We think it's the right path. Nobody knows 100% that this is this is it. Even those that say we have clarity, we test it. That's why he said a leap of faith. You test it first. That fear never goes away. So that I'm 30 years old, don't let that be an anchor or a pillar that you set for yourself as a sign of failure or not doing well. That's one. Then the second thing he said is I've been serving someone. That's a mindset. Because what you have said there that I feel used. I feel taken for granted. That's what that phrase means. There's something my pastor says. He said, wherever you are, nobody can use you. Right? If we believe that our paths, whether we're Christian or not, if we believe that our paths are designed by God, wherever you find yourself, there's something for you there. There's nobody that's had an experience all their life that everything was rosy. It doesn't happen that way. That's just not the way life works. Right? So the question I would say ask yourself is, in those 8 years, what did I learn? Right? What changed for me? Where was I 8 years before? Where am I now? What skills have I developed? What knowledge have I gained? How am I different? How am I better after those 8 years? That's number 2. Then the last part is I feel stuck. Can I tell you that stuck is a good place to be? What it means is that you are at a crossroads. You are at the decision point. So confusion is good, stuck is good. What now needs to happen is you then have to take, you are the owner now. You are the one that decides the path to go. Right? So it's back to the question of who are you and what do you want? You've done this thing for 8 years. What did he do for you? No, before that he said he didn't lead in the path I hoped. Sorry, I skipped that part. What path were you hoping? And what was the basis of that hope? Was that a hope based on what? Based on reality, based on desire, based on purpose? What was it based on? That's the question. And even if it didn't work, right, what is it that you are now designing for your life? See, the problem we have, let me face everybody. The problem we have is that we are living our lives for the gram, Instagram, looking at everybody else. My friend has done this. This one has done that. This one, auntie. Right? If you do not go inside of yourself to understand what is my own path, and even that, like he said, very rightly so, comes in bits and pieces. God is not going to show you the entire vision, because if he shows you, you will run. You will take off, because it's going to be hard. There's no life that is easy. So he's going to have something. There's something in your heart that you desire. There's something that you have not acknowledged. So at the point of crossroads, at the point of being stuck, you retire into yourself and ask yourself those important questions. What is it? Who am I? What have I learned? What are my skills? What's my talent? What's my gift? What's my desire? Where do I want to go from here? Where do I see myself in 20 years? Right? If money wasn't an option, if Nigeria wasn't an option, wasn't anything, what would I want to be? That's your starting point. Right? And then you begin to design your life and move in that direction. You will find that when you look back at those 8 years, it was actually a gift. There was something there that you didn't know. There was something there that you didn't know that you were learning. Right? Because there's nothing that God gives us that is wasted. Good, bad, and ugly. Nothing. Yeah? So for me, my experience is that the most difficult times of my life were the things that gave me so much. It wasn't fun going through it. Really. It really wasn't fun. But looking back in hindsight, I wouldn't change it for the world. Thank God it won't happen again, but right? But that's the way to go. So to that person, you need to sit with yourself. That's the truth of the matter. You need to come back and do a blueprint of your own self and your own life. Who am I? What do I want? Where am I going? Right? Then you can stick little by little, step by step, and build that life for yourself. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Let's celebrate that feedback. Really instrumental. So what's your take?
Nothing to add. She answered it 100%. 100%.
100%. But I want you to speak to that survival build-up, because obviously this individual has whatever decisions that might follow, if not carefully guarded, will be based on today. Today, I must take care of myself. I must take care of. So how would that person break out of that?
Okay, just to
Salt on the...
take off of the back of some of those things that she has
Yeah.
said, right? It's really very important for you to design what rich means to you. Being a financial advisor for more than 5 years, that's where I always start the journey with people. When you come to me for a session, we have to go through the task where you design what rich means to you. Rich is very contextual. What rich is to Mr. A is not what it is to Mr. B. And you cannot build your life on the timelines of other people. You don't have the complete story. What I found out is a lot of people, you only have half of the picture of what is truly going on in their lives. So you see someone online that is always traveling, and you desire to travel, and you're looking at it, God, when? My international passport does not even have one single stamp. And this someone, it could even be someone in your office. You're on the same grade. Your salary is both 200,000. But what you don't know is behind that 200,000, she has other things she's involved in. I'm not saying illegal. Things that are legal. She may have a parent. I have people that their parents, up until today, still pay for them to travel. Every time they want to travel, they just call the travel agent, they book the flight. So that person is now your colleague at work. And you're saying that she's traveling, but your own salary cannot even buy a ticket to Lagos. You'll not be saying your life is stuck. So a lot of times, this definition of being stuck is because we measure our lives through the timelines of other people. So that said, if you're truly in survival, how do I define survival? Survival within the context of finance, You move from stage to stage. All of us, we start at dependent phase. If you've seen that matrix, if I develop that matrix, there are 5 levels to financial freedom. The first one is dependent. That is when you are not working, someone else is paying your bills. We've all gone through that phase. When you were a child, your parents, you were dependent on your parents. After a while, you graduate and then you get a job. You move to survival phase. Survival is now where you are earning 100K, but your total expenses for the month is 120. So you always have to find a way to meet up, whether you are doing side hustle, you are doing something else to meet up. Then you move to the next phase after a while. That next phase is called stability. Stability does not mean you are rich. It just means that you are now at that phase where you can comfortably pay all your bills and you can save and invest a little. Then you move to the next phase, which is security. Security is now rich, the phase where you are now rich. You have a lot of investment. As security, if you don't go to work for the next 6 months, you're not going to be hungry. How many of you right now, if you don't work for the next 6 months, your bills will be paid? Only one person. So it shows that we still have a long way to go. Then you move to the final phase. Which is financial freedom. Financial freedom is now that phase where you are free to do what you want to do, where you want to work, and all of that. So you need to understand those steps. And the good thing is you can start at any point in time. It's not restricted to age. I even found out that actually most Nigerians, the millionaire age bracket, the age where most Nigerians actually cross into the realms of becoming millionaires is 35 to 50. If you are less than 35 and you are not a millionaire, calm down. 35 to 50, and this is not mine, you can research it. That's the age gap. That's the bracket when most people, it doesn't mean that, in law, there will be exceptions. Yeah. It doesn't mean that everybody until you are 35 before you become a millionaire. Some people can achieve it at 20, at 25, but that age actually is 35. So if you're not really where you want to be in your finances and you're still in your early 30s, it's not the end of the world. But you need to now start making decisive actions. What are the things that you're going to start doing to change the trajectory of your life?
Thank you very much. Please help me look at the person seated next to you. Ask them, are you 30? If they say yes, tell them, calm down. Calm down. I'm 30 plus, but I will calm down. Thank you very much. Now, back to you, Ma. You said something about being a little bit selfish at some point. I would like you to give context to it because, when you hear the word selfishness, it has an undertone of, not very acceptable. How can I, as a woman, be selfish? But there's a question here that links to it. And the anonymous says, how do you dream when your family doesn't believe women can amount to something? And what they... Okay. Sorry? Okay. How do you dream when your family doesn't believe women can amount to something? And what they do is talk about marriage and don't allow you achieve everything. So this person is probably somebody who believes in family. I love my family. However, my family is posing a bit of a challenge because they are presenting to me being a woman already is a minus. And then your way out is marriage. The context of being selfish, how does this person apply it? How do we give context to it?
So I think that question was asked. I think that's what they were trying to say, perhaps in the earlier panel, but happy to take that and both of them. So when we say selfish, right, it means prioritize yourself. Yes, and I'm going to explain what that means. Prioritize yourself as a human, right, as a human being, as an individual, as opposed to prioritizing the roles that you occupy. So like I said, me now I'm here. I'm a daughter. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm an employee. I'm a business owner, so I'm an employer. I'm this, that, and the other, right? At some point, or really at any point, those roles are only fueled by me as an individual. So the efficacy or how effective I am in those roles is 100% dependent on how effective I am as a human being, as an individual. So if I'm not all right, I can't be all right in my marriage. I can't be all right in my motherhood. I can't be all right as a daughter. You understand what I mean? So, but what happens is the converse. We focus and prioritize how we show up in those roles, forgetting that we are the cup that fills those roles. So that's what I mean by be selfish. Fill up that cup. And for you to fill it up, you have to take cognizance of it. Who am I as a person without all of these things? You know, like I tell people, like, if you just wake up one morning like all these movies and everything had disappeared, you have to function and interact and succeed as just you. So remove your titles, remove your roles, just you. What are you going to do? What's going to be your pathway? What are you going to trade with? Yeah, so that's what we mean. Fill up that cup. That's the one part. Then the second part is a person, my family, this one, that one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I think that the other speaker that spoke about it touched on what's important, waiting for permission. You know. When my dad was alive, blessed Mary, my father, I went to my father for everything. Oh. I think my father said, no, that's the end. There's nothing here. That means it's bad. Right? Because I really trusted his judgment. I trusted everything that he would say. Yeah. But as I became, a full-grown adult, especially when he wasn't around anymore, I have to be responsible for myself. Right? So you can imagine if I had not done some things because daddy said so. Daddy's gone now. Right? Who am I going to answer to that I didn't follow that path when the person that said don't do it is gone? At the end of the day, the person you will answer to that you have to look in the mirror is yourself. Absolutely. Right? It might be harder for some people than others. For those who are conflict avoidant, it will be hard. For those who are very, very family oriented, it will be hard. In fact, it's hard for everybody, right? But part of that, it would mean that is your own path you need to take. For some, they find it easier than others to break free, of those shackles, really, I could call it. Some people find it easier to do that than others. But if you find it hard, it means that's your path that you need to take. You can't be somebody else. There's no way it's ever going to work, right? So if you are saying my family is not letting me, there will have to come a point in time where you have to ask yourself, am I an adult or am I an appendage to this family? If I'm an adult, at some point I have to take responsibility for myself, hard as it might be, right? So I wish there was an easier answer or a nice one or even a funny one, but yeah.
Thank you.
At some point, you have to take responsibility for your life. And
right.
I think someone said, forgive me, you're a male until you decide to become a man. You're a girl, you decide to become a woman. At that point is responsibility. When you say you're taking responsibility for your life, right? Nobody, I'm my father's daughter, yes, but I am a person of my own, right? So that's the time there's a switch that happens. I have to take responsibility for this.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for that feedback. So we're going to do just final questions. This is for Mr. Shea. But the first part of it, I believe he has answered it. I'll read it out anyways. Can you please break down the habits you have committed yourself to that has helped you as an individual to stay focused and grow intentionally? He has highlighted some. Also, so this is the one I'd like you to speak to. For a person who earns about 250,000 naira and saves 100,000 naira in mutual funds monthly, doing other investment has been a struggle. What do you advise such a person on expanding investment?
Okay, for you to be saving 100K from 250,
yeah,
a lot of people need to come and learn from you. What are you doing? What are you doing in this economy? So, okay, let's put it in context. If my judgment serves me right, this will be your life. It means that maybe you are not the one paying rent where you live. You are eating free food. Someone else is buying the food and you're just supporting. So, 250K is, you can't do so much with 250K salary, right? Where investment is concerned. So, and you've already started doing 100K mutual fund. Stay with that for now. Then what you should do, how can you scale your income? So focus more on the income side. How can I increase my income? What are the things that I can do right now at my free time, right? Example, there was a time in my life, because I have accounting background, I would do my 9 to 5, and every weekend I would go scout for businesses that I could offer bookkeeping service for. And they were paying me 5K. So I got the first business, 5K. I got second business, 5K. At a point, the businesses were so much that I had to reach out to my friend who was working at KPMG then and said, guy, okay, anytime I get the job, I give it to you. You take 3,000, I take 2,000. And that was how I was able to expand until that business took me through survival. Again, let me go back to that survival mindset. There are some businesses that can't take you to stability. They are only meant for your survival phase. Do them, and when it's time to let go, please, don't hold on. Your business is not your baby. Hey, my baby, my baby. No. Leave the business and move on to the next thing, right? Don't do that. So focus on, for that person, my advice for you is to focus on how to scale your income. What are the things that you can do at your free time? If you have a 9 to 5, the skills that you've learned in your 9 to 5 can be packaged as a product, a solution to small businesses. I was talking to a banker. She had worked 20 years in the bank, and she was thinking about the next phase of her journey. I want to resign. I don't know the next thing to do. I feel there is no idea that I have right now. I said, okay, all through your years in the bank, there are a lot of small businesses right now that need access to loans, that don't know how to do it. You can actually package a service, to teach people what are the documents that you need. How can I make you investment ready? Those are services that businesses will jump at. Of course, you need to know how to properly present it. So as she was talking, I have this thing I had written because I know I was coming to a women's conference. If I can find it, I hope I can find it. It's a letter that I wrote to parents, especially, and it affects moms more. This thing about putting your life on hold because you have kids, it's a thing. And when I wrote this, I got a lot of feedback from people. Some husbands sent it to their wives. This is what I've been telling you all along. I'm not finding it, though. But go on, I'll be looking for it. When I see it, I would.
All right. So I'll ask you this final question, and then you also say the letter, and then you also give your feedback. If a woman, one of us, leaves this room today inspired, we're all pumped right now. I could bet that if one woman steps out of this room, in fact, when you sit down with your notepad, they have to beg you to leave it alone because you are bursting with ideas right now. But if any of us here leaves this room today and does nothing differently in the next 30 days, what do you think she's missing? And what would you challenge her to do immediately?
What do I think she's
missing? After we have been charged, what would you say is the missing link?
So honestly, usually what happens in sessions like this is that everyone is pumped. People really don't do anything when they go home. And I'm one of them, I've been to fantastic sessions where I'm like, yeah, and then you get home and you're like, life, and you just continue lifing as it were. So I wouldn't say, don't beat yourself up over that, right? But what is happening is that you are putting together a bank of knowledge, right? A bank of desire, right? So when you hear things, you can never unhear it. So everything you've heard today, particularly the ones that did ding inside your mind, you can never unhear it. So whether or not you do something immediately or not, that thing is there. And what happens is that today you've heard this one. Tomorrow, it's going to build up. There will come a time when it will be full, right? And you will take that action. You can either do that, wait for the action to come to you, or you can decide to do something intentionally. Again, that's your choice. And that's your responsibility as an adult. You get to decide. Yeah? Nobody's going to chase you weekend and say, if you don't do anything in 30 days, it's your life. It's your life. Yeah? But don't beat yourself up and say, oh, I didn't. No. Every knowledge you have is never lost. That's the thing about knowledge. Nobody can take it away from you. What you decide to do with it is up to you. But I promise you, what you've heard and has made an impact on you, you can never forget it. It will come out, when it's necessary. Would I recommend that you wait until it comes to you? No, I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend you actually decide and take intentional action on what you want to do. Yeah.
Please help me celebrate. Mrs. Orifie Uyo. It's been an amazing session with you. Thank you. Your final thoughts, Mr. Shea. Still bothering on that. Did you find it? Okay, great.
I found it. So I'll just read. As a good parent, your whole life cannot be about paying bills and taking care of your children. You need a plan to enjoy your life and live with purpose too. When you pour out continuously without refilling yourself, you risk losing who you are and resenting the children you love. Balanced parenting is understanding these truths. Providing financially is important, but it's not your only job. Children benefit from seeing their parents happy and fulfilled. It's okay and necessary to have personal goals, friendships, hobbies, and joy outside parenting. Self-care is not selfish. It prevents burnout and resentment.
Yeah.
Kids didn't ask to be born. They should not carry the emotional weight of a parent's unfulfilled life. A parent always wanted to be a doctor but never pursued it. Years later, they pressure their child to become one, not because it fits the child, but because it feels their own regret. When a parent constantly reminds a child, I sacrificed my whole life for you, until the child starts feeling guilty, it's a sign of resentment. Dear parent, it's difficult to balance, but you can be dedicated without disappearing. You can be responsible without being miserable. And you can love your children deeply without making them the only source of meaning in your life. Thank you.
That is a wrap. Thank you for capping it up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this very panel session. It's mine. Thank you very much. Thank you. Don't stop coming on today. Go and sit down. Because that was so much power. So much to take home today. Wow. Look at your neighbor and tell them calm down. Yeah. We will go. All of us, we will dream, we will dare, and we will do. We will do. Say we will do. Don't say it like Oyinbo. Say we will do. I like that we go do. Say it again. We go do. All right. Thank you very much. Please celebrate yourselves. You've been wonderful participants. It's been very engaging. And I want to say a very big thank you to you, all our speakers. Well, there's still one more panel session. You don't want to miss that. And also, please, you can sit. Everybody, please sit down. Please sit. Thank you very much. We'll go to the next panel session. But right after that, please take note. We'll be having you guys soon after the panel session. Now, this panel session is a unique one. A unique one, but it will not be moderated by me. Please welcome Karen Okechukwu, who will be moderating the beautiful. Please celebrate Karen. She's a powerhouse as well, and it's an honor to stand beside you, madam. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for Moreni KG. I mean, she has done such a wonderful job. I don't think I need this. Excuse me, I don't need this. Thank you. All right, so I come bearing a surprise, a very beautiful surprise. Like she said, my name is Karen Okechukwu, and I'm going to be moderating the next panel session. And if you followed Weekend on social media, I know we've made some buzz about a surprise panel session, and this is that panel session. We know that the theme of the conference is Dream, Dare, Do. And the convener sat and she realized that aside from Nigeria, we have individuals in diaspora who are also struggling and who are also trying to dream, to dare, and to do. So the panel session that we're going to be having right now is the Dreaming in Diaspora session. Please, a round of applause. We have a lot of people in diaspora connecting online. We have a lot of people, members of the community who are in diaspora. A round of applause for them, please. All right. And I have two amazing women, two powerhouses, if I might add, who are going to be joining me upstage. First is Mrs. Adebola Eniola. A round of applause for her, please, as she comes. This these are women who are living the dream in diaspora. So it is not so far-fetched. They are here to tell you that it's not so far-fetched to dream, and it is possible to live the dream. Welcome off stage, ma. Please have your seat. The second person on my panel is someone who does not like to be introduced, but please a round of applause for Mrs. Olaitan Oduntan. Please a round of applause for my panelists. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, dreaming in diaspora. Good afternoon, ma. So from the research that we were able to do, and also please send your questions on Slido. If you have any questions, please, about what it takes to dream in diaspora, please share your questions on Slido. I'm logged in on the page and I'll see your questions. But I'm going to start with you, ma'am, Mrs. Eniola. I went through your LinkedIn profile and I was quite impressed. You've been in the UK for quite some time. You work in healthcare, started off as a radiologist, and now you are a superintendent, a supervisor in Apollo Radiology, right, in the UK.
That's correct.
And along with, because healthcare is quite demanding, along with a job like that, you also have your dreams that you have dared to do, if I might add. You run a cake craft company where you create confectionery crafts for people all around the world. And you also run a travel and tours agency as well. Please, for those of us in the room who do not know so much about you, please, can you just sell your market a bit, brag a bit, brag a bit.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bola. I'm actually Eniola's older sister.
A round of applause. This is our convener's older sister.
I am the quieter version of her, so yeah. So I have been living in the UK for the last 22 years now. I started off as a radiographer and, working, got married, had kids, and climbed through the ranks in the UK. In my job as a radiographer, became a superintendent. Now I work as a quality and governance manager. My theme, my motto is that the glass ceiling is just the start, right? The sky is not the limit. You need to smash through that. You need to get to the top. So every time I get to a stage in my career that I think, okay, I'm stuck, what's the next stage? So I will talk you through how, I've done this. But in addition to that, I like what Orefe said earlier about you have your job that satisfies your financial needs, but you also need to do something that satisfies your creative needs, your passion, your desires. I've always loved baking. I baked for people, and turned into a business. And then I thought, actually, baking is too much hard work. How can I monetize this in a way that is not hard work? I started creating cake toppers for people. Okay, less demanding, but then how can I turn this into something that is even more profitable and turn into a passive income? I started making digital products like what Mr. Sheyi said. So by doing this, I'm fulfilling the creative part of my role, still having a 9-to-5 job and still thriving, but trying to find a way to make my 5 to 9, we call it, passive income, satisfy my passion, and also profitable. So that is a little bit about me. I hope I didn't take too much of your time.
No. Please, a round of applause. A round of applause for Mrs. Eniola. Thank you so much for that brief introduction. And over to you, Mrs. Oduntan. Can I call you lighter? Okay, because I know you don't like the formalities. I also went through your profile, quite impressive. You went abroad to do your master's, and now you work with one of the leading tech agencies in the world. And there's also a very fun and free side to you. You do travel content. She travels a lot, and she has a lot of fun. I mean, both of you are basically living the life that you have dreamed of. And just like I said to Mrs. Eniola, for the audience who do not know you, could you just please brag a little.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm super excited to be here. So my name is Alaito, and I moved to Ireland, I would say 6 years ago, for my master's degree. The intention was not to stay back, but I got a job with one of the tech firms, and stayed back. Now, just like her as well, having a 9 to 5 is not enough. Sometimes, you need to fulfill that inner passion, or else, you're just going to be working day and night. And if you live abroad, where there are no family, you really need to, explore and also, get some things that would give you that fulfillment that you need. So travel was it for me, because I needed to connect, with nature and all that. So I guess, that's why I dabbled into travel content, and yeah, that's it.
A round of applause for her. Thank you. I think one theme that has been coming forth in what both of you have said so far is the fact that, yes, there's the job you did for the survival, but then there's also working towards the things that you were passionate about. And so I just wanted to ask you, Mrs. Eniola, how were you able to, what were the strategies you would say that helped you to, because you have to get to a point of stability for you to really think of taking out some of your time, because talking from my experience of people who work abroad, you get paid per hour. So you don't work, you don't get paid. So the time you're spending doing the things you're passionate about is you losing money. So you have to maybe get to a certain point of stability. So what were the strategies you would say that helped you move from that stage of survival to that stage of stability?
Okay, so what I would say is that the mindset that you get paid per hour, if you don't work, you don't get paid, we need to scrap that. Because if you're in the right job, you get paid regardless, right? You can negotiate your salary and have a job that will give you time to pursue your passion. So I think if there's anything that I want to bring out is that if you are thinking about going overseas, if you are thinking about getting a job and all you hear is, oh, you have to be a nurse, or you have to work in care, or you have to do this, nothing wrong with that, but you can absolutely also get other jobs that pay fantastically, that gives you the freedom that you need to do other things, okay? So I've always been lucky or blessed to have a job that gave me the time and the freedom to be able to do other things. I didn't just stumble into it. Like everybody has said, you get the job, you put the work in, you make yourself visible, you make yourself indispensable, then you will get the promotion, then you will get the freedom, if that makes sense. So not all jobs is, pay per hour. You can absolutely get some amazing jobs that you can do. I mean, at one point, I was working full-time, but only doing 4 days a week. You can absolutely do that and have the time freedom to do everything that you want to do. But you just have to get yourself to that point where you find those jobs. Create those opportunities for yourself. Don't limit yourself by having a I can't do it mindset or I can't find that job mindset. You have to change your mindset to the point where you're like, okay, I can absolutely get this job. I can absolutely do it. I can absolutely smash it. And then you will find the jobs. You will have your job, and then you will have your side hustles.
A round of applause for her, please, for that response. And I like the fact that you spoke about luck and the fact that you've always been lucky, like you said, or blessed, like you said. So I would pivot a bit towards this direction. Like I mentioned, from what I saw, you went abroad to do your master's, and then you got this very big job, right? So I just wanted to know, are there any tips? What exactly would you say worked that helped you secure your first opportunity abroad?
Okay. To give context, I worked for Google, and when I moved abroad, working for Google was never on the table because I mean, you hear of these big companies like Facebook, and you think, people that work there, they have 3 heads, right? So you just are already automatically, you're like, no, there's no way there. But interestingly, I usually do this thing anytime I'm in a crossroad. I write down the things that I want in a paper because I'm very visual, so I need to see that. And then I wrote down 5 companies that are like big in Ireland that I could work with. Google was part of them. And the next thing I did was reach out to people that are like me, because again, it's a different entire space, right? So I reached out to a couple of people, and I had a chat with them regarding, okay, this is what these are my skills. Where do you think I can function in this organization? Someone was kind enough to have a chat with me, and we looked through my CV together, and yeah, we took it up from there. But there was something else I did personally. I did my own research, so I wasn't just waiting for this person. I went online, looked for opportunities, looked for roles as well within that company, and looked for things that they were looking for. So there were specific things that they were looking for that I knew I had, but also I didn't know how to communicate that. So that was another problem that most of us have when we move abroad. We don't know how to communicate our experiences. So that was something else I had to learn, how to communicate every experience that I'd gathered here. And yeah, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, I'll say, so that I can put my CV out there, and spoke to quite a number of people so they could share their experience with me. I would say those were like the things that I did to pretty much get into the company, I guess. Yeah.
A round of applause for her. All right, I think a few things that I picked was you spoke to people. You reached out to people like you who could relate to the level where you are, and you're able to get someone to review your CV. And you were not just looking to work with Google. You were looking for, okay, these are my skill sets. How can this be tailored? What role can this be tailored to? And what is Google exactly looking for? Because if you are not what they are looking for, then you don't get to get the opportunity. A round of applause for her, please. That was really insightful. Thank you so much. Do we have questions up on Slido? Please, can we have the Slido link again? I can't see any questions up on Slido yet. If you can have the Slido link up, so if anybody has a question, they could ask, please. All right, so we're going to talk about mindset shifts on learning and relearning. Being born and bred in Nigeria, obviously, there's a certain type of mindset that you're skewed towards. And then you find yourself in this different environment. And there's a lot of culture shock, there's a lot of reality checks, and it's very easy to get to that point of comparison, right? So I'm going to ask you, ma'am, Mrs. Eniola, how were you able to deal with comparison and the pressure? Because there's also the idea of, I don't know, maybe the circumstances with which you went abroad, but there's also the idea of once you go abroad, everybody feels like you have a lot of money, start to send money home or start to do a lot more. So how were you able to deal with the comparison, the pressure, and just feeling out of place, fish out of water in your environment? And I also asked that question to you too, ma'am.
For me, the biggest mindset change is that in Nigeria, normally you would get somebody to do something for you, right? When you're abroad, you're on your own, literally, you have to do everything yourself. So it's learning, or like almost retraining my mind to learn to do things for myself. And the other mindset shift that I would say is that we tend to, as Nigerians, we tend to ask people for, oh, I want to do this. How do I do this? How do I do that? But I had to quickly retrain myself to actually go and do the research by myself and go and learn how to do it by myself. And the other thing is to let go of fear. What I find that a lot of Nigerians do is they're scared, almost scared of like Western people, like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble, I don't want to do anything wrong. But just having that, sorry. just having that braveness, that boldness to just do it. Like nothing's gonna happen, right? Just do it. Whatever you want to do, just do it. If you want to, apply for a job and the salary is ridiculous and you're like, this is too much, just apply. Like, what's gonna happen? Nothing. Like, don't let fear hold you back. So that's one of the biggest mindset shifts that I had to do. But in terms of comparison, I think it's easy to compare yourself to people that, have been settled for a long time. They've bought their houses, they bought their cars, they've done this. Oh, I'm just starting off afresh and things like that. And we all know comparison is a thief of joy. So you have to get that out of your head. Everybody has different journeys. Everybody starts from different places. Just think about yourself. And then just focus on yourself, focus on your growth and your development, and that will be helpful. And in terms of sending money home and all of that, I mean, obviously, you want to, if you can, you want to support your family, your parents, because they've given up so much for you, so that it's not a problem. But it's just about having family or support system, parents that are understanding. And they know, just being open with them, just being honest with them. This is what I can afford. This is what I can't afford. And they will be understanding. So, yeah, thankfully for me, that was not a struggle.
A round of applause for her. Thank you so much for that response, Ma. Thank you so much. So, being grounded and basically understanding who you are. I'll throw the same question to you, Olaita. What's your perspective?
Okay, just so I know, I say, while I'm trying to talk, my breathing, my behavior, I'm fine. I see a lot of concerned faces, so I'm fine. So I think the first thing is sense of belonging. Because when we move here, we're like, oh, I'm black, and they're white. But for me, the earth is the Lord and its fullness thereof. So forget the color. We are all the same, right? It's just unfortunate. They have a warmer, we have a warmer climate. They don't, so. Unfortunately for them, anyway. So, I don't take it as I'm from a disadvantaged Nigeria. I don't see myself like that. So, I don't have to struggle with self-identity or, like, not feeling among or that I don't belong here. So, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. Then the second thing is Nigerian groomers to be very timid. So when you find yourself in an organization, most of us, we have this master-servant mentality. Over there, it's not like that. Like, you really just need to be bold enough, even if it's your director say something that, of course, respectfully, you correct them, right? So you need to be able to have that boldness that technically most of us don't really have, because of how we, the kind of organization we worked at while in Nigeria. Did I miss there's something else? Around comparison.
Comparison.
I don't compare myself, unfortunately. So, honestly, there's nothing to compare because you have your journey, you have yours. We're just uniquely different. So, why do I need to compare myself to the next person, right? I appreciate what God is doing in your life, and I so expect that from you as well. And there's something I would always say. If you see something going well for someone, and you really want that, you ask them, how did you do it? How did you get a second job at this company? Instead of comparing yourself. And if you can't reach them, do your research. There's Google, there's YouTube, there's Instagram, And then, actually, I don't know. I don't really know how to speak to comparison because really.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for both of them. I think a key theme in what both of you are saying is that groundedness in your identity. Nobody is better than you. You're just at different points and on different journeys, really. And being able to reach out to these people or reach out to the people who you admire instead of comparing, reach out to them to ask questions and guidance. Thank you so much for that. I have a question here. Someone said, moving abroad, I had dreams, a lot of dreams, but the reality was different. I was told so much and painted such a beautiful picture. I tried, I planned, but I failed, and then I stopped dreaming. How can I go back and start dreaming again?
That's a really interesting question, and I think it's something that unfortunately happens to a lot of people. When you go abroad, you need to decide who you associate with. Do you associate with people that, yeah, this country is hard, it's too difficult, this is the best that you can do, you can never afford to buy a house, da da da? Or do you associate with people that say, watch me do this in 2 years, and then they can teach you how to do it? So for you, it's unfortunate about your dream, but what I would say is don't give up on your dream. Find the right support system that will make your dream a reality. That is the key, the people you associate with. My pastor always says this in church. He said when he came to the country, they told him he could never make it. And he said the minute that person said you can never make it, he said that day, that person stopped being my friend. I just don't associate with people like that. He said, let me go and find somebody that has made it. So he said he went to a dinner party and saw someone with a Mercedes-Benz car key. And he said, how did you get this car? And the guy, my company gave it to me. He said, oh, okay, take my CV to your company. And that's how he got a job with the company car. He did not stop dreaming. He didn't let people's voices resound in his ear. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He associated with the right people, and then he made it happen. Okay? So if you have got to the point where you have stopped dreaming, I would say start again, but find the right group, right people, right church, right community that will make your dream a reality.
A round of applause for that. I mean, community. And I like the fact that he was able to identify the people who were not seeing the vision he was seeing, because I know in one of the panel sessions someone had asked the question, when you share your dreams with someone and then it dies. So knowing the right people, and I think the response was, who are you sharing your dream with? So knowing the right people to share your dream with, not just in Nigeria, but even in diaspora, basically, is always very key. And basically community, being able to be with the right people and the right group. Thank you so much. A round of applause for her, please, once again. I have this question that I'll ask you, Olaita. There's a lot of myth about dreaming abroad, living abroad. So what is one thing nobody tells you about the journey of dreaming in diaspora that we really should?
I think it's the loneliness. I moved just before COVID, so you can imagine, like, my master's was online. I traveled all the way from here abroad, and my master's was pretty much me looking at my lecturer through the screen. So the loneliness was there, but then again, it gave me time to really, like, spend some time with God. And just to chime into that other question as well, I think, I'm going to be dishonest to say that everything that I've done is just because, I have it all figured out. I don't. It was just the leading of God, right? So I spent so much time doing that prayer, what is next for my life? And somehow, God really just opened that path for me to walk through it. So I'd say do that as well. Let God lead. Because your dream and God's dream, completely different, yeah? I did a master's in sustainable development. I wanted to work with the United Nations. It's not happening right now. Because God told me it wasn't time, right? And opened another door for me. I'm just giving this as an example. So sometimes our dreams might not necessarily be God's plan for us. So we need to inquire and understand God's plan for us. Now back to your question. The loneliness. I think for me, it was one thing that I dealt with for quite a while, because that was the first time I was by myself. I grew up with my grandma. We were like 5 and 6, so I was all by myself. But with time, I got to reach out to a lot of people, the right people as well, and then surrounded myself with a very vibrant community. Yeah.
All right, and I keep hearing community, community, community. If you're not yet a member of the Weekend community, I don't know what you're doing. Please, media guys, can we project the link, the QR code to join the Weekend community? It's a community of women who want to thrive in career, who want to thrive in business, and you've heard how important community is. Please look for the person with the Benz car key and ask him how he did it on the Weekend community. Clock it. All right. As we begin to round up, in one sentence, and I'll throw the question to both of you, in one sentence, what would you say it really means to dream, dare, and do in diaspora? I'll start with you, Mrs. Eniola.
Okay. So one thing, in one sentence, dreaming is thinking about what you want, knowing what you want. Exactly what we've been hearing all day. What do you want to achieve overseas? Do you want to work and send money home? Or do you want a well-rounded, balanced lifestyle? And then dare, just put your dream into reality. Do not be afraid. If there's anything that I want anybody to take away from this session is, don't be afraid of diaspora, because guess what? They're human, same as us. I don't care what title they have. I don't care what color their skin is. They're exactly the same. Probably even worse than us, to be fair. So don't be afraid, and then just do it. That thing that you've been putting off, that application that you've been putting off, just do it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing. But if you don't do it, you might never know. So I would say, do not be afraid and just do it.
A round of applause. That's a quotable right there. Just do it. What's the worst that could happen? Really, what's the worst that could happen? All right, I'm going to move to you, Olaita. What do you have to say?
Okay, mine might not be one sentence. There's a part in Genesis when God was trying to speak to Abraham around giving him a land with Lot. We know how that went. And something that always stays with me is, as far as your eyes can see. God could easily have told him, I give you this land from there to there. But he said, as far as your eyes can see, right? And it's the same thing I apply. As far as my eyes can see. So I need to see things. I need to go on YouTube and watch people making it abroad. I need to watch CEOs, immigrant CEOs, how did they make it? I need to come to conferences like this to hear people who have made it abroad, right? Just because I need a picture so that as far as I can see. So I think for me, that's living abroad, that's really what you need to really be able to visualize so many things you can do. Don't limit yourself. Don't think, like you just said, don't think, oh, these people are better than I am. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes you're 100 times better than they are. So just dream. I mean, that's it.
A round of applause for her. As far as your eyes can see, don't stop seeing. No matter what happens, don't stop seeing. I would like to stop here, but I also want to throw an open end. Is there anything you just want to share with the audience that maybe we haven't touched on so far? A few words that you just want to say. I'll start with you, ma'am.
What I would say is, and I was thinking about this earlier, if you are here and you're thinking about going overseas, this came strongly in my mind. Don't waste your money by giving your money to somebody that says, give me 10 million, I'll get you a visa. What I would say is go and do your research. Everything is online. In fact, ChatGPT can even apply for you. Like literally, you can do it yourself. Do your research, know your stuff, and then go for it, okay? This came strongly in my mind because one thing that I've seen a lot of people that have just wasted so much time and money just relying on other people to provide a service for them. You can do it yourself. And should you do it, if that is your dream, then absolutely, okay? There's a lot of, you could hear fear-mongering thanks to social media. out there. I always say to my children, somebody needs to take social media away from Nigerians. But literally, don't be scared by what you see on social media, because guess what? The ones that are not on social media are so much better. There's so many great things out there, but they're not on social media. So take your time, do your research, do the application for the job, the visa, and then just go for it. Just smash it. Thank you.
Just go for it. Just go for it. Thank you. A round of applause, please. That applause can be so much better. Are we hungry? A round of applause for Mrs. Eniola, please. All right, over to you, Olaita.
I think it's going to be around, if you want to travel, if you have that desire to travel, you need to do your research, just like what you said, right? And because everybody's going to the UK right now or Canada, doesn't mean that there are not other countries that you can visit. I almost fell a victim, right? I wanted to go to Canada because my good friends were there. I wanted to go to the UK, my aunties were there. But yeah, it didn't work out. So I'm just saying that don't limit yourself. Oh, I must go to Canada. I must go to US. No, like make sure that you ensure that you do your research to know where are other opportunities, right? Where are the other countries that I can go to get what I want. If that's truly what you want, to move abroad, don't limit yourself to. I mean, it's great to be in the US, but there are other countries as well where you can realize your dream. So don't limit yourself to just one country.
Don't limit yourself. Do your research. A round of applause for both my panelists, please. And I will humbly ask for a standing ovation as we've come to the end of the Dreaming in Diaspora panel session. Thank you so much, Mrs. Oduntan. Thank you so much, Mrs. Eniola. Please. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you to our speakers. This panel session is very important. You know why? Because we're talking about dreaming. I can bet that a good number of us, our dream is one leg in Nigeria and one leg in diaspora. So it was very important that we understand, if you are dreaming to be in diaspora, what to expect, what to know. And like they rightly said, do your research. So the US, the UK, and Canada are not the only countries that you can relocate to, right? All right. So please slap your neighbor a high five and tell them, well done. Well done. I'm saying well done because it's been a journey. We started out since 10 o'clock, and this is 12 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. It's been a great journey for me, and I know that for you too, it's been worth your time. Has it been worth your while? Yes. I'm not convinced. Has it been worth your while? Yes. All right. So when I say Weekend 2026, you say? Dream, dare, do. A round of applause for yourselves. I love that the spirit is so very, very high. All right, so there's an activity that we had to skip earlier on. The person who is going to represent ZQuest Wealth, please make your way forward. It's about time now. We had wanted to do this activity earlier, but we'll do it right away. SQI, also take note, you'll be coming up right after, and then we would wrap up and go. So don't forget, there is something sitting on your table. It's like a triangular shape like this. It has things scribbled on it. If you're not part of the Weekend community, you want to take a look at it. Yeah, I see somebody pulling it closer. So it's on every table. So look at it. There's a QR code to scan there, and then it will lead you to where you're supposed to go. Can I have you, ZQuest Wealth, help me celebrate one of our partners? And when you hear wealth, you know we're talking finance. We're talking money.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Victoria Ehiriodo, and I'll be representing ZQuest Wealth. So essentially, we're into finance and investment conversations, and the goal for us is to see how do we show you where the opportunities are so that you can make the most of all of your investable funds. So the activity she spoke to earlier is actually a tournament session. So that's our way of, should I call it, encouraging financial literacy, right? So the tournament essentially will be trying you on a number of finance and investment related conversations to test your understanding of finance and investment, because we believe that it's really essential that you have the right information to guide you so that you're able to very sufficiently profile different investment opportunities before you, so that you have a clear understanding of what is this about, what is this other option about, and how do I make the right choice in terms of my investment objective, what I am looking to do for myself, how is this product suited to deliver value for me specifically, right? That's something we're very big on at Zcrest Wealth. So essentially that tournament will speak to that. But before we go right into that, very quickly I'll speak to financial awareness, right? So, I mean, a number of our speakers from the previous sessions, including the panel sessions, have touched on a number of things that require finance on some level to drive, right? So finance is more so a very critical element in terms of achieving your dreams. So even if you earn, for example's sake, 100,000 naira, how do you make the most of opportunities around you so that you're growing your funds over time, and over time you can fund whatever dreams that you have? So think of dream in this sense as your financial vision, right? How do I power myself well enough to have enough funds to drive what I want to do? If I'm looking to start a business, for example, if you're a 9-to-5er and you're looking to start one particular business that you've had in mind to do over time, how do you ensure that you're doing the right things and taking the right steps to ensure that the right structure and goal is in place to fuel that dream that you have for yourself, whatever business it is that you want to set up over time? Now, I'll skip a lot of these things because I don't have quite a lot of time to delve into this as much as I would have loved to. But very quickly, let's look at what financial awareness is about. So there are a number of things to consider when you talk about financial awareness. And one of the things that are very critical to financial awareness is understanding first, where are you financially, right? And where do you want to be? And where's the gap? What's the gap? What does the gap between where you are and where you want to be look like? And what do you need to do to power yourself well enough so that you're well positioned financially, right? And then reasonably comfortable to sponsor whatever goals that you have, whether they be short-term goals, whether they be medium-term goals or long-term goals. Please help me skip all of this. I want to go right into a number of other conversations. Skip. Skip. I don't know who is on this. Okay. Very critically, before we delve right into what we have here, there are a number of things that I must mention that are challenges that I'm sure. So while I was seated behind and while I heard a number of the speakers come up to speak on a number of subjects, I thought to make a very short note of a number of mistakes that we make financially, right? That sort of keep us stuck financially. One of the mistakes that have been spoken to extensively already in this meeting today is that as women, it's almost commonplace now to prioritize others at the expense of our own personal financial security. So a number of you earn or you own businesses. A number of us, we've normalized having to fuel other people's dreams, having to fuel, say for example, you have siblings who are in school, right? And you already contribute actively towards their school fee needs or whatever needs that they may have. But while you're doing all of this, which is not bad, how do you ensure that you're also prioritizing yourself in the midst of all of this? So that you've not worked for years and lived for years, and then you've not built something in line with what you actually want to do that makes you happy and feel fulfilled at the end of the day. That's one mistake we make. Second mistake is that we delay investing and say, I'll just start later. Many of us have heard about investors' opportunities even before today, right? I'll take us through a number of things quickly that can help you in line with what Mr. Sheyi spoke to earlier when he spoke to mutual fund investments, right? I'll speak very briefly on that as well. we delay the actual decision of investing. Some of us, we nurse the idea, you think about it, but we don't go ahead to actually invest. And that's a problem, because if you do not take the right steps and then do it from an informed perspective because you're leveraging the advice of someone who is a professional, you might end up making mistakes at the end of the day. So even for those of, in summary, even for those of us who go ahead to invest, if you do not have the right information, you end up making mistakes that will cost you your resources, and then at the end of the day, you're back to ground zero. So aside delaying investment, some of us do not even arm ourselves with enough information to guide us in those investment decisions. And then also, a lot of us still keep idle money in our bank accounts. A lot of us still do that. I mean, we are in an age where a lot of things are calling for your funds. Even keeping your money idly in your bank account takes a chunk of that amount over time from you. And you do not want to do that when you can have these funds invested and making returns for you over time. Another thing is, a lot of us actually lack financial planning. We do not do it actively. So there are no goals, there are no structures in place to guide you over a certain period of time to ensure that at the end of XYZ period of time, I should have done XYZ with my funds, or I should have grown my fund to this point, and after I have grown my fund to this point, what should I have done at the end of 6 months or a year with these funds that I have put aside? A lot of us do not do any of those things. So very quickly, what are the important practical steps that we can take? Whether you're a 9-to-5er, whether you're already a business owner, wherever you are really, and then what are the things that you can do to basically help you make the most of your funds over time? One is to employ the 50-30-20 rule. So for the 50%, we advise that caters to your need. You have up to 50% of your funds to cater to your need. Now, this is not necessarily cast in stone, because earning capacity for all of us varies really. And lifestyle differences are also another reality you also need to bear in mind while adopting this rule. But we advise that overall, just keep about 50% of your funds to cater to whatever basic living expenses that you have. The other part says 30% for your wants. So what are the non-essentials that you want to cater to as well with regards to your own lifestyle? What are the things that you desire beyond your basic needs? What are the other things that you wish to do with your resources? You can have 30% allotted to that. And then finally, 20% should go to savings and investment. Now, ignore this arrangement. I would advise you strongly, right, from a place of experience. When you get your funds, it's very important before you start to allot those funds to expenses. I would advise strongly, keep away the amount of money you want to save or invest. But then that requires a lot of discipline. So take this from somebody who works in the financial services space, or who has worked rather for about 8 years, right? For my first 5 years of work, so I used to work with Stanbic IBTC Asset Management Limited. That's like the investment arm of Stanbic IBTC before I joined Zcrest Wealth. For more than 5 years, I couldn't speak to any tangible savings or investment per se, but I worked as a wealth advisor, advising clients on how to make the most of their funds. So that is possible. A lot of us in the finance industry, I can tell you for free, it doesn't matter that you have the information, right? It doesn't matter that you know where to put the money. You have to ensure that you set up a structure that allows you discipline yourself financially to the point where you have your savings and investments build over time while you are working and earning money actively, whether it's as a business owner or as a salary earner. That's why I strongly would advise you, keep away the portion for savings and investment first. If, for example, let's make this really practical. If, for example, you earn 500,000 naira, and you've told yourself, that's why, I don't know who that was that said he or she earns about 250,000 and keeps 100,000 aside. Even if you have no electrical bills to cater to, you do not spend towards feeding your own self and all of that, it still takes a lot of discipline to keep 100,000 naira out of that money aside as savings or investment or whatever. It takes a lot of discipline. So discipline is the foundation for all of these things we are going to discuss. We can discuss all of this, give you knowledge as to what to do, where to put your funds, how to do your risk profiling and know yourself as an investor. If we speak all this English finish and you do not apply the discipline to actually keep away a part of your fund before your expenses, at the end of the day, you'd have gone nowhere after all of these conversations, right? So it's very important that you ensure that that portion of your money, whatever it is, from a place of discipline, continue to keep it aside. It may not even be 20%. You can decide that what works for you is 10% or 5%. But first, you need to be able to keep a portion of your fund aside and do it consistently. Over time, when you see how much you've been able to save and invest, trust me, you'll be better off at the end of the day. Now, we'll skip to the next slide. Okay. All right. Skip. I want to keep to time, really. I don't want to exceed. Or is it like a monitor I could use? Okay. So, can you take this to, can you quickly skip to the place that has the barcode? Okay. So you can scan this and then impute the referral code so that it takes you to the place for the tournament. I want to do that real quick because we've set a time already for the tournament. So we had to keep readjusting the time for the tournament because it's actually a live tournament. We have adjusted the time at least 7 times, right? So we don't want to have to do that again. So quickly you can scan the code, and then once it's a minute to 3:30, I would advise you to quickly go on and then sign up for the tournament. Very quickly. I'm trying to give some time to some of us to scan the code before we move. Sorry, I should move apart. Okay, sorry. Sorry? Deactivated. Okay. Can you please go straight? This code takes you to where you download the app. Anyways, should just go to Play Store or App Store and download Zcrest Wealth. The same thing. It just takes you straight to the app because the tournament will happen live on the app. For some of us who were able to come to the stand earlier, we've done that already for you, so you're good to go. All right, so let's keep this since we're not using it anyways. Hi. No, sure. Thank you. All right. Okay. So can you take me to the slide that speaks to, it has screenshots from the app. Skip. All right, and I think you've passed that. It has a screenshot for mutual fund, treasury bills, commercial papers, and all of those. Okay, next. Next again. Okay, thank you. So this is fine. All right. So part of what you get to see once you sign on, right, on that app is, for those of us who will go ahead to make that decision to start saving or investing, is the app has been designed in such a way that it encourages you to very sufficiently, even if you don't have to you don't want to speak to anybody directly from Zcrest Wealth, right? On that app, when you sign up, there's a place where you can do a risk assessment, right? To decide what kind of investor am I? Am I a low risk? Because there are different products that are designed for different kind of investors. So not all products will be suited to everybody. So there are some investors who are already very familiar and used to high risk kind of investment. For example, the equity fund. If you can go to the next slide, I'll show you the performance for the equity fund. But then I would emphasize that equity fund is for people who are high-risk investors. So year to date, thank you. So year to date, or you can go back, I could use the other one to speak to it really. Year to date, the equity fund has done 51%. What that means is that if you started this year, January, and you invested, say, for example's sake, 1 million naira, just for example's sake, right? It means that by now, year to date means that by now, you would have gained 510,000 naira on your 1 million naira that you invested. That sounds really big, but that's the possibilities that exist when you invest in the equity space. So equity essentially speaks to investment in shares of different companies, right? Now, for the equity fund, it means that we, as the fund managers, we are making the active decision as to which shares to buy, how much of each share to buy, when to even buy and when to sell. Why? Because there's something actively driving the portfolio manager, which is the return that they want to achieve, right? So if, for example, portfolio manager might say, at the end of Q1, I want this equity fund to have delivered minimum 50% return for the investors in the fund. So that portfolio manager is working actively, monitoring the market dynamics and changes in the equity space to deliver that performance for the equity fund. I'm just using the equity fund as an example, right, to tell you of the possibilities that exist, right? Generally, not just ZCrest Wealth, really. But yes, essentially, we have these products that are designed for different kinds of investors. So the equity fund essentially is for high-risk investors. We have the fixed income fund. Majority of the fund there is invested in bonds, whether they be corporate bonds, whether they be sovereign bonds. So corporate bonds means bonds of different institutions. For example, it's a Seplat, right? And then there are bonds from different countries as well. We buy all of that into the fixed income fund, and a bit of your money is invested in money market securities like treasury bills, fixed deposits, commercial papers, and all of that. So the dollar fund, on the other hand, is dollar denominated, meaning all of the funds there, right, are invested in dollar-denominated securities. And that's for people who have dollars that they want to invest as well. The money market fund, on the other hand, is for those who their goal is, I want my capital first to be preserved, right? I don't mind what the return is, but slowly I'll build on that. So currently, money market sits at around 18% gross. So by the time you take out your fees and all of that, your actual return might come to maybe a 16.5%. The dollar fund, I didn't mention, that one currently sits at around, like, say, 7% return. Fixed income fund, by the time you analyze the current performance of that, is at 40%. And then finally, the equity fund I've mentioned already is at 51%. There are other options to invest directly by purchasing any of the fixed income instruments like treasury bills, commercial papers. You want to buy that one directly. You don't want to do a mutual fund, right? You want to now buy, for example, a treasury bill investment, or you want to buy a commercial paper by a different, let me say, so treasury bill is issued by the government, right? Think of commercial paper as the private sector equivalent of treasury bills. That one is issued by private institutions like a Dangote, an MTN, and different private sector institutions. So you can buy a commercial paper. And then finally, you can buy bonds. So these are all of the things that are available for investment. So thank you very much. We'll go straight to it. Do we have our tournament results, or have we started the tournament already? Okay, so once you go to the app, right, did you adjust? Okay, what time? Okay, so once it is 3:40, you go to, okay, you can see the time. That means you can see the tournament then. Once it's 3:40, so we also don't know where to find the tournament. Once you're on the app, you scroll down to Explore. Under Explore, you will see Tournaments. Once it is 3:40, be in, and then ensure that you complete the questions within 5 minutes. Answer those questions within 5 minutes. Once you're done, we don't need to come here and announce any winners. You will see your name on the platform, your username that you used to sign up. Your game profile name will show, right? The results are already, the gifts rather, are already packed. So based on the results, we will then give the gift items to the winners. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We celebrate ZCrest Wealth. So there are lots of prizes to be won. So 3:40, do not forget. SQI, can we have you for just 5 minutes? You have 5 minutes. Well, by the authority vested on the convener, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Wumi Peters, and I'm so glad that the convener and I share the same name. And if you don't have this fan, please make sure you get it at our stand. So if you have the stand, you would notice that we have our logo and Dream Build Impact. Coincidentally, today's theme is Dream, Dare, and Do. So what is SQI? SQI College of ICT is a tech training institution. We offer all ICT courses. We have alumni all over the global space. Fortunately, we also had someone working in Google right here who spoke earlier. We have our office located at Pepsi Mall at Wuse Zone 4. You can come around and see what we do. One of the things I tell we ladies is that we need to take over the tech space. The tech space is not just for the men. Come, code. You can be a software engineer, you can be a product manager, a product designer, graphic designer, doing great things in the ICT space. Come on, let's do this. Remember, we dream, we dare, we do. Some of us wrote out things that we're going to do this year, and we're saying, yes, I'm going to take a tech course. It starts now, you know. This is already the first quarter of the year, and I tell you, this is not a coincidence that you're here today. So please come around, come learn about what we do, and I'll see you. Thank you.
Very judicious use of your time. Thank you. Let's celebrate her, please. Thank you very much. Well, we're getting to the point where we get to dot our T's and say our BYs, but not with a closing remark from the convener herself. Let's celebrate Mrs. Eniola Peters.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. We have officially come to the end of Weekend Conference 2026. I don't know what to say that everybody else has not said, but I just want to say I'm very excited that this conference happened against all odds. I thank you to every one of you that came early and are still staying till this very moment. Thank you. I mean, you did well for yourself. And I'm just going to leave you with this one word. Don't give up on your dreams. It is important. And on that note, I'll say see you March 27, 2027. Huh? March 27, 27. Come on. All right. Bye. Good night. I want to go and sleep.
All right, please, let's celebrate the convener herself. Let's celebrate all the volunteers who have worked at the ushers, the protocol. Please celebrate them. Let's celebrate all our partners, all our exhibitors, the media team, everyone. And finally, celebrate yourselves. Amazing. I'm glad to have done this with you. My name is Morenikeji Olonilua, but I'm called Renimo. I do this, corporate comparing, and every other thing, okay? I look forward to seeing you come 2027 with your big dreams being reality, no longer dreams, okay? So tell your neighbor, the next time I see you at the weekend conference, you are telling me about how you dared and what you're doing. If they don't answer you, please shift. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful time.
hearts full of plans unseen, ideas waiting for